Hello students. Today we will discuss the limitations of civil disobedience movement. Means who did not participated in the civil disobedience movement. Uh, Actually, for long the Congress ignored the demands of Dalit because they feel that if they will support the demand of Dalits, it may offend the Sanatanis, the high caste conservative Hindus. So that is why they ignored the demands of Dalit. Now the question is, why the Dalit participation in civil disobedience movement was limited? Dalit means the depressed classes were not actually moved by the abstract idea of Swaraj. Many Dalit leaders they believed that a different political solution. Rather, you can say they talked about political empowerment for their community. So they began organizing themselves, demanding reservation of seats in the jobs, educational institution, and separate electorate for Dalit, so that they are able to choose their leaders in the legislative council. This Dalit participation in civil disobedience movement was very limited one. Especially it was in Maharashtra and in the Nagpur region where the organization was very powerful, where the Ambedkar was very active. So that is why they did not participate and they look for the political empowerment by getting reservations in the educational institution and separate electorate for the legislature. Now, the role of Gandhiji for removal of untouchability. This man worked in a very magnificent way for the removal of untouchability in his own way. For him, he declared that Swaraj would not come to India for 100 of years unless and until we able to eliminate or remove untouchability. He called untouchables as a Harijan, the son or the children of God. He organized satyagraha for them to entry at the public places like temples, wells, tanks, roads, etc. He himself involved in the launch of cleanliness drive in their colonies. He also organized the common dining. He even persuaded the upper caste people to give up the sin of untouchability. He even uh, started a magazine called Harijan and an organization called Harijan Sevak Sangh. Now come to the another point. By the separate electoral demand, British conceded it, and due to which Gandhi feel that the separate electorates for the Dalit would divide the Hindu community. So at that time he was in Yarwada jail, so he went on to fast on to death strike, which led to deterioration of his health. Finally, a pact, Pune Pact, was signed between Gandhi and Ambedkar. This pact led to the reservation of seats for the Dalits in legislature, but they were treated as general electorates. Now the second group who did not participated at large number in civil disobedience movement were the Muslims. Why they did not participate, or rather why their participation was lukewarm? Here, after the decline of NCM, non-cooperation movement, a large section of Muslim felt that the Congress is identified with the Hindu nationalist group like Hindu Mahasabha, because some of its members were the member of Hindu Mahasabha. Second, their relations great worsened, especially due to militant fervor among the both groups, they which converted into communal riots in various cities, and this communal riots further created distance between both communities. Another differences was between Congress and Muslim League was related with the representation of Muslim in the future assembly that were to be elected. Actually, Jinnah was willing to give up the demand of separate electorates. If Muslims were assured seats in the central legislature, as well as representation in the provincial assembly as per their proportion, their proportion of population. But the compromise formula get failed due to uh, an move by M.R. Jacker, who was a member of Hindu Mahasabha, who opposed all sorts of compromise that failed, the compromise between Congress and Muslim League. And that is why when civil disobedience movement was started, there was an era or atmosphere of suspicion and distrust between both communities. So that is why large section of Muslims did not responded for a united call of struggle against the British rule. Now the last topic, the sense of belonging, means how the Indians develop a sense of belonging towards India, or how the we feeling, how the uh, sense of oneness developed among the Indians. So there were 5 points. There were two major points. One is the united struggle. United struggle under the leadership of Gandhiji. We know, we have already studied. He launched three mass struggle. One is the non-cooperation movement. Second is the civil disobedience movement, and third is the Quit India movement, which ultimately led to the independence of our country. And second part is the cultural process. In this cultural process, further 4 points we will discuss. The first is the figure or an image. It is with the growth of nationalism, the identity of a nation was visualized with the image of Bharat Mata. This image of Bharat Mata was first created by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. We know about the national song Vande Matram, a hymn to the motherland he wrote. And later, Avanindra Tagore, he created the famous image of Bharat Mata. And we know the devotion to this mother figure came to be seen as evidence of Indian nationalism. Now the second one, revival of Indian folklore. Actually, in late 19th century, the nationalists began to realize that recording of folk tales, folklore sung by the bards must be gathered, must be compiled. So they toured the villages, and they believed that it was essential to preserve this folklore, to rediscover our national identity, and to restore a sense of pride among our one's own past. Third is the icons and the symbol. Again, it is a very important one. During the Swadeshi movement in Bengal, a tricolor flag with three red, green, and yellow was designed, but it contains 8 lotus and a crescent moon, which represent both Hindus and Muslim. Later in 1921, Gandhiji has designed a Swaraj flag that contains again a tricolor with a spinning wheel in the center, which is supposed to be a symbol of dynamism as well as self-help. And carrying the flag, holding it aloft during the marches became a symbol of defiance, became a symbol of national resistance. Now the fourth one, reinterpretation of history. Now the people in the 19th century, they started uh, the feeling that to instill a sense of pride, we should look towards India's past. So they began to look into the past to discover India's great achievements against British, because they believe that Indian are the backward one, their cultures are primitive. So these nationalists, they started writing about the development in during the ancient times in the field of medicine, science, mathematics, astronomy, religion, culture, law, philosophy, etc. And these nationalists believe that history urged, this nationalist history urged the readers to take pride in India's great achievement in the past and a struggle to change the miserable condition of Indians under the British rule. But here One, this reinterpretation of history pose a problem. Why? Because during glorification of past, we emphasize upon the past of ancient India. We forget about the medieval India. We forget about the contribution of people belong to the other community. We fail to understand the contribution of Ganga, Yamuna, Tehzeeb. So even this unify people effort was not without the problem. Thank you.